Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Natalie. This video I am actually making on the back of the update video I did about my respiratory issues. I actually want to talk to you about what that ended up being and use this video as a warning as to the dark side of SSRIs. First, I want to say thank you for all of the love and support on the comments. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm obviously breathing a lot easier, which is the first thing you'll probably notice. My steroids are finally working. About 8 months ago, I was prescribed the SSRI, commonly known as Prozac, during a particularly bad downswing that I was having off the back of a manic episode. So I'd only ever been prescribed benzos before that, and I hadn't really had a great time with benzos either, mostly because every time I take them, I tend to notice that I start bleeding from my face. Yeah, I don't know, my nose starts bleeding a lot and it starts clotting a lot, and I was on Prozac for a total of 6 weeks before I actually couldn't take it anymore. Turns out 6 weeks in someone like me who doesn't really have a great immune system is enough time for Prozac to wreak havoc on you for the rest of your life, because it can alter a lot of different body systems. So pretty much from the outset, everything wasn't going okay, but we had to sort of get over a 4-week trial period because obviously a lot of people that go on them for the first time, having not been on them, sort of experience side effects. It's quite common for people to experience side effects, and Prozac is actually one of the SSRIs that is supposedly got the least amount of side effects associated with it. So I'm just really unlucky, but I need for you guys to really listen to this if you are taking them, and if any of this sounds like you, go to your GP immediately. SSRIs, benzos, things of that nature promote weight gain. This was my first red flag. So in the 6 weeks I was on it, I lost 1 kilo a week. It actually took me 4 months to gain back the first kilo after stopping taking it, and then an additional 4 to get the other 2 kilos back. And really I've not been back to the weight I was before taking the SSRIs since then. Like, I just can't keep it up. And this was because it actually, yeah, reduced the amount of stomach acid I've got in my stomach, which meant I was having to plan my days around my stomach. I was living on Mylanta double strength tablets. I was getting through crazy amounts of packets a week. Why I wasn't sponsored by them, I will never know. My average day had to be planned around my stomach, and ever since it sort of has been. So what my average day looks like now is that I'll wake up, I will have a coffee, but I can't really have anything else because I start getting really nauseous. I tend to like cluster eat around lunchtime, so I can eat probably for a good 2 hours between the hours of 11 and 1. And that's pretty much it for my day. I might have a snack around 3, but once it hits 4:30, I cannot eat anything after 4:30. If I do, and then I go to bed that night, basically we'll just be coughing acid up all night long, which is obviously very dangerous for your esophagus. Not only did it affect my stomach acid content, but it affected my respiratory system. It gave me a lot of allergies. There are things that I had been eating my whole life that after taking Prozac, it was like, no. Rather than simply being allergic to something and having like, I don't know, like a rash reaction or whatever, everything I became allergic to turned into a respiratory reaction, which meant that I struggled to breathe after I'd eaten it. So things I'd never been allergic to before, like wool, tomato paste, red meat, chili powder, pumpkin seeds, which is kind of what happened this time around. I had an allergic reaction to something that we can't pinpoint, because at this point I feel like I'm just allergic to my life, and it caused a respiratory reaction which got really bad. Another more uncommon side effect is people who have pre-existing dermatitis. For me, I was born with eczema, caused me to have something called discoid or nummular eczema, which looks a lot like ringworm but is not ringworm. And I noticed every time I'd have a flare up with either my stomach acid or something else that was related to the fact that I had been on Prozac, I would get like these 2 nummular eczema rings on my right arm in the same spot every time. But interestingly, back to the respiratory stuff, I suppose there's been a lot more people like me having these sort of adverse reactions to SSRIs, so they've actually started doing more research into them, and recent research has actually shown that it has the potential that SSRIs and long-term use, unfortunately mine was short-term use and I still ended up with side effects, but long-term use can actually result in lung disease. It can result in abnormalities in the brain. I'm not saying this to scare you. If SSRIs are working for you, that's great. I'm just saying if you are predisposed immune-wise and you are experiencing these symptoms, it's time to go back to your doctor and plan B it. And do not, under any circumstances, cold turkey stop taking your SSRIs. That is gonna wreak havoc on your system. You need to go see a GP and you need to wean yourself off accordingly. Again, this is not to scare you. This is just an educational video for those of you who may be experiencing these symptoms. More importantly than that, always make sure you research your medication before you take it. Make sure you disclose to your doctors if you're going on any psychiatric medication if you have prior conditions, because a lot of psych medications will mess with things like asthma, will mess with things like cardiac function. So it's really important. So thank you guys for liking, commenting and subscribing. If you have any questions about any of the symptoms I've experienced, or you feel, and if you've had similar experiences, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, have a wonderful day guys, and I will see you all in my next video.